oftentimes the narcissist is going to take things that are not your fault and blame you for them to keep you confused and keep you controlled. You end up being the scapegoat that ends up getting blamed for everything. Are you the scapegoat in the narcissistic family? Maybe you're the one that always gets blamed for everything, and you're consistently made like you're not good enough. Does this happen to you? Is this a part of your life? Today, I want to talk through the aspect of scapegoating and how it actually shows up in the narcissistic family, how it shows up and how it's affected you over such a long period of time. If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist. I am the founder of Raw Motivations. And just for a moment, like if you could just take any of the information that you hear today or in any of the videos we've done and just share it with somebody. You never know, someone that you might share this to might be going through this exact problem or one similar to it in the realm of abuse that you don't realize. And when you share this with people, they start to realize there's different aspects, different people in their lives, different situations that they're in that they can get out of. But they don't know that it's abuse because it's what they've been used to for such a long period of time. This oftentimes happens when you're in a toxic family dynamic and you become the scapegoat. You become the person that is blamed for everything. The person that has all the stuff that rolls downhill, rolls and impacts you because you're the one that everybody blames. You're the one that everybody says, oh, it's your fault. Now, this might not be overt of saying it's always your fault, but it's still this aspect of making sure that there's always a price to pay, and that price is always going to be paid by you. Not by the golden child, not by a different child, not by another person in the family or in the relationship, but you. You end up being the scapegoat that ends up getting blamed for everything. So I want to talk first and foremost about the burden of blame. You get to the place where you're constantly being blamed for problems and for shortcomings. Not even necessarily that are your own, but just problems and shortcomings that have to get pushed on you so that other people feel better about themselves. You might see this in aspect of where the family has this dysfunction, or it doesn't seem like it's working or functioning or healthy in a good sense. And as a result, all of that gets pushed onto you, of it being your fault, of it being something that's wrong with you, of you being the one that gets the brunt of the issues in the relationships. So you end up being criticized for the things that you do, the things that you say. You get undermined and devalued. And you often get to the place where you're responsible for the issues. Now, this is key in this type of relationship and in the relationship that you're going to form with someone else or the relationship that you're in right now. And it happens over and over where you're getting blamed for someone else's problems or you're getting blamed for someone else's decisions. This is where it's not your own decision, but the other person is saying, this is your fault because I did this. It's because of you. And always putting it back on you. We see this a lot in relationships. And if we look back at childhood, a lot of times we'll see this where the parents did this. They used that kid as a scapegoat to be able to push off the negative energy, the negative feelings, the negative things that they were experiencing and put it on you. And then you get into another relationship and it feels normal. It feels natural because you're like, this feels normal based on my childhood, based on my upbringing, based on the things that have already happened in my life. And so oftentimes when you're scapegoated early on in your life, you end up getting with another person down the road that is toxic as well because of the fact that it feels normal. This is the hard part, is where narcissists will put and project their issues onto you to make you feel like you're the bad person so that they don't have to feel that they actually did something wrong. So they don't have to feel that they did anything different, that they did anything out of place. Like the whole goal of projecting anything on another person is so that I don't have to feel it. Like, oh no, that's how you're interpreting it. That's how you're thinking. That's on you, but it's still my actions. Narcissists are great at taking their actions, putting them on another person so that it is your fault. Did he do that? Did he do that in the relationship that you've been in? Do you see that in your past as far as your family dynamics growing up? Is this something that you saw in your life? Because what happens is you start to feel isolated in the family dynamic. You start to feel isolated in the relationship. You might be in the family with multiple siblings, parents, and everything, and you feel isolated and you're like, I don't get this. Why do I feel isolated? Oftentimes promoting this aspect of inadequacy and getting to a place where you have the emotional burden of someone else's actions and issues. Think of it this way, like you grew up in a narcissistic family. So many people that I talk to, we've talked to thousands of different people that have come out of narcissistic abuse, and a lot of them have had this predisposition to get in a toxic relationship based on their upbringing, based on the family that raised them. Not all, but a lot of them we see. And you get to the place in that family dynamic where you are always blamed for the family conflicts. Like it comes back to it being your fault, or something you said, or something you did. And even if it was another sibling, even if it was someone else, you still got the brunt of it. You still got the blame for it, even when you had nothing to do with it, no part in it whatsoever. Like this constant piece of blame starts to affect your worth, starts to affect your confidence, starts to affect you on a day-to-day basis, because the people that say they love you are also the ones that are punishing and putting things on you over and over and over again. This has a giant impact on your well-being. Mentally, emotionally, physically, so many different things come out of this that end up hurting you. And it causes a giant toll. It causes this giant effect in this piece that oftentimes leaves these long-term emotional scars. These things that are affecting you for a long period of time. Anxiety, depression, a lack of self-esteem, a lack of self-worth, feeling like you're not good enough. Multiple things will come out of this. And over a period of time, it feels normal because it's what you grew up in. It's what was seemed normalized in the relationship. But then you start to notice the effect it actually has on you, especially when you have a child or when you're in the work environment and it's completely different. And you start to see and sense that, wait a second, this might not be the way that I actually want to be. This might not be normal compared to someone else and their relationship. Or this might not be normal based on what I'm interacting with someone else and hearing and seeing how their parents interact and respond, how their relationship's working. And I'm like, wait a second, maybe this isn't what it's cracked up to be. And people start to realize and come to the conclusion that they're in a toxic relationship, but they've been used to it. It's felt normal because of the scapegoating. Because of what they were already predestined and preconditioned to see and to feel because of the fact of how they were raised. Because of the blame that had consistently been put on. The consistency, the consistent blame, the negative reinforcement, it takes a toll on your mental health. How has that done that for you today? Leave a comment in the below of like, this is how it's affected me today. Maybe you're at the place with the stress and the anxiety that has brought you to the place of having autoimmune disease. Maybe you suffered hair loss. Maybe you're at the place where that stress is starting to rack your emotional and physical and spiritual body over and over and over again, to a place where you're like, I don't even want to get up in the morning. I feel depressed. I feel like, what is the point of life? Why should I even keep trying? Because this is too difficult. I don't know if I can work through this. And that depression is leaking out on how you interact with others, of your willingness to even show up for other friends and family, of you being able to show up and parent and lead your kids in a healthy way. And if you take a close look at it, you start to realize that all of this has been from someone else projecting and putting something on you that's not true. Maybe you're at the place today, you're watching this and you feel completely unworthy of anything. Unworthy of being able to take time for you. Unworthy of being able to invest any amount of time, energy, money in you because you've had to do so much for the other person. Like it feels like a struggle to even form healthy relationships outside the family dynamic, or else you get in trouble. Like you spending time on you or developing you, that is the end of it. the frustration, the annoyance, the concepts that come out from the other person, that it's like, you do this and you don't care about me. And you see this where people will take all of your time and attention and put it on one particular person or one particular thing. And oftentimes the narcissist is going to take things that are not your fault and blame you for them to keep you confused and keep you controlled. That's what it is. Sometimes people are like, I don't get it. Like, why does he keep doing this? I'm like, to keep you confused and to keep you controlled. Because if he can keep you confused, then you won't make a move to actually be free. And as a result, you stay controlled. You stay locked into the relationship and you will not be free. People are like, I just want to be free. Then we need to get you clear. Because without clarity, you cannot make a decision that produces action that actually gets you free from the toxicity. And you will remain stuck for a long period of time. If we can help in that clarity, please reach out for help. If you want to work with me one-on-one, you can go to rawmotivations.com. Would love to be able to help you as we move forward in your growth, in your healing, and in your development. Thank you all so much. Y'all have a blessed day.
You've been told it's all your fault and that makes you feel crazy. No one understands you and that leaves you in a place of being alone. You've tried to break free multiple times and that leaves you helpless because nothing you've done has actually worked. It hasn't actually got you free or liberated from this toxic relationship. So you feel crazy, alone, and hopeless. Guess what? That's a lie. Because all it is how you've been raised and conditioned inside of this abusive relationship over and over. And as a result, you've sacrificed your growth, you've sacrificed your worth, and you've been trapped inside of a toxic relationship. What if I showed you the path to freedom? A way for you to actually get free mentally and emotionally from the toxicity that's happening right here, right now. You deserve more. You deserve to be able to heal. And I want to help you with that. If I can help you with that, go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. Schedule a call there and let's talk.